worth falling for. Oh, and with open arms I'll carry yours. Come, rain or shine, I'll cover you up and calm the skies. As long as you are mine, I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it.
Good morning. It is a nice morning, huh?
It is.
You know, when I woke up this morning, the moon was just barely peeking through the clouds. It had rained all night for the most part, and then we had fog. There was fog on the lake, and then the fog rose up, and then it covered us in fog, and then the sun came out and the fog lifted. But it's just become a beautiful morning. Great weather, starting to warm up. But we are taking advantage of a non-rainy day here, and we are laying out all of the trenches for the footings for the shop. And we didn't get it on camera because there was a lot of, I guess, precision and kind of moving around and laying it out, but I just did want to walk through a little bit about how we did it. We did it very unconventionally. So normally
Like everything.
yeah, normally you'd have some batter boards, and you'd set them up off the corners a few feet diagonally to the structure, and then you'd use that to kind of set out an initial string line and then move them a little bit until you get the building squared. But because we've got the rock right underneath the pad here, there really wasn't enough that we could put into the ground to secure a batter board so that it didn't move around on us. So we wanted to have as close to a stable benchmark for doing these measurements as we could. So what I grabbed a few logs off the log pile, and heavy ones that were
My jacket there.
that's all right, ones that were heavy enough that we could kind of pull some tension with the string lines on. And I just put a screw kind of close to the ground level in each of them, and we laid out the rough building. We had some white corner marks from the excavators to make sure we had the pad to the size that we needed to. So we used that as our starting point. And then we probably went around, what, 5, 6, 7 times, something like that? Just you measure the 40 feet wide, and then you go and you measure the 64 feet long, and then you measure the diagonal across. And if it's not right, it means you don't have a 90-degree angle on that corner you just set up. So you have to make that adjustment. And then when you think you got that one good, then you go to the next 40 feet, and then you pull the diagonal there, and then you compare those two diagonals, and if they're off, then you still have an oblong rectangle. So we did that. It probably spent an hour or two.
I think we started with the diamond, but we finally figured it out and got rectangle.
So a little unconventional. You can see we got our logs out there kind of creating the batten boards, but it worked for us. And this doesn't need to be like insanely precise at this point. All we're trying to do is figure out where we need to dig the trenches for the footers. So I'll show you the one that we dug yesterday. We've got it really in some spots we don't even have 12 inches deep, so we're gonna have to go get a jackhammer.
No, well, I thought we're gonna think about maybe doing some rebar
Maybe.
directly into the bedrock.
Yeah, between drilling into it and maybe just renting a jackhammer for a few hours to see if we can get anything out of it. We don't have to do it in every single spot. So because this building is, each of the posts are spaced out 8 feet apart, or 8 feet on center, we'd have to get, say, this first corner, we'd have to get down, ideally we'd want to get down 12 inches if we could. And then we're going to go 8 feet down the line to where our next post would be and make sure we have 12 inches deep there. So I wanted to get the trenching done around the whole perimeter first to just see what the amount of potential jackhammering, I guess, we would need to do. And if not, if it doesn't work out, if it's too hard, we can always just drill and use some rebar to help reinforce it. And that was an idea of many people, and then also our concrete contractor mentioned doing that potentially too.
As opposed to doing 6-inch slab. We're planning on doing the 4-inch slab, and if we didn't do any rebar, we'd have to do a 6-inch slab, which would mean a lot more money.
And to clarify, not rebar at all, just rebar drilled into the bedrock. There will be rebar,
of course,
reinforcing the entire slab. But the nice part is we know it's solid. So the concern isn't about it moving. It's just about it potentially, with the weight distribution of it, fracturing the concrete, because it doesn't have, we're drilling through it with the the post footings, those brackets with those big, I think they're like 5/8 inch, what are they? Just those big screws, those concrete anchor bolts. So we just don't want it to, when you do that and you tighten it down, and then over time with the load, then if the concrete fractures or cracks, then we've lost all stability in it. So we're gonna go ahead and, we have this also. So we also marked out some of our drain pipe lines. So we've got this here, and we're using, Adam picked out this yellow green, which is nice because it's nice and bright. But we went in about 13 to 14 feet from this back corner over here. And that's where we're gonna run everything. So the electrical conduit, our water supply line, and then the drain line, which will go out there to septic and then to the leach field ultimately. So we're gonna use this main trench here for all of the utilities coming in. So I wanted to mark that off so we knew exactly where we needed to connect this big trench up here. So it's gonna go around the back there, loop in, and then connect up to here. And then we made this mark right here, which is about 22 feet in from the back wall. And that's gonna be the approximate front of the apartment. So we wanted to know where that was. We're gonna go past it because we're gonna do I guess it's a hookup, right? It's gonna be a drain hookup for the RV. So we wanna plumb that in. So we wanna know where that wall is so that we can get past it for that P-trap and then connection for the hookup. But we also wanna know where that is so that we know where this wall is gonna be, so we know where to pop up all of the utilities and ideally get them hidden within a wall somewhere. But this is good enough. We're gonna put a 12-inch trench on it. We'll have plenty of room to work with on it. We'll get it all laid out. And then this last little dotted line that we did here, we've got some shop drain. They're 10-foot segments. And so we're gonna start at about 5 feet from the front wall. And we're gonna put 10 segments together for 30 feet. And then it's gonna connect to a 3 or 4 inch drain pipe. And then I think we're gonna just run it straight out and off the cliff down there. Because it's only going to be for, washing the dog or the cars or something like that. So it's just going to be for any water or moisture, or even if it's raining, right? It's raining outside.
Pull your car in.
You pull your car in, you get moisture on the floor of the shop. We want to be able to maybe just squeegee it or have it just naturally slope down and drain out so it's not wet inside. So that's what this one's for. And then the only other thing that we really have to be a little conscientious of is the tractor back there. So we're gonna run out of some space if we're not careful on the order in which we do this. We don't wanna get the tractor pinned back there. And we also don't wanna have to be digging over the trenches that we've, dug out as well. Right. Or maybe we'll just leave a few feet, and then when we're ready to form everything up later this week, then we can do that last little segment. But right now, the schedule is to get everything formed up on Friday, so a few days from now, and then pouring next Wednesday, which is over a week from now. So a little bit of a delay than what our original schedule was, but it'll be so nice to get this done.
Oh yeah.
And I think the fact that we were supposed to pour 4 days ago, and we still don't have the trenches done or any of the plumbing, it's probably good that we had the delay. Otherwise, we would have been in bad shape, or we would have been chipping out a lot of concrete later on.
Yeah. Everything
So,
happens for a reason.
Yep. And we've been able to think about the design a little bit more so that we're not rushing it. And yeah, that's it. So we're gonna make some trenches and get it done.
Just as sure as the sun will rise, I'll be there when you need me. With every tear that falls from your eyes, oh, you have me completely. I'll be there when you need me. Trust, it builds a home.
Good afternoon. It's a nice rainy afternoon, but it finally just cleared up. It stopped raining, and there's been this fog just sitting all over the lake and all over the area here. So we haven't been able to really have any visibility. But at least for the next few minutes, it stopped raining, and it's clear enough that I can get my phone out and give you a little update of what I've been working on. So today was a big day. We had our scheduled inspection for our plumbing, for everything that was the groundwork, so that was going underneath the slab. And for the most part, it isn't too complex at all. We have this one main drain line that's gonna go right through there. And then we have our water supply line, which is gonna come up through the exterior wall right there. And then I've got this one other shop drain that we're gonna put into the floor. And it's over here, but it's actually gonna go kind of where these green or yellow, whatever the color they are, dotted lines are. We're gonna have 3 of them in sequence. So 30 feet of shop drain running the length of the shop. And then we're gonna run that out. So those 3 points where we're gonna have, penetrations through the slab. And so this shop drain over here is not under the umbrella of what the inspection was, just because it's not tying into, it doesn't have to do with water supply, and it's not tying into any sanitary systems. But this drain system, this drain pipe was, and really just all we're looking at on this one was just the stub in, because we're not connecting to the water supply as of yet. So the main part of the inspection was the drain, and we had a conditional pass, I guess. The one thing that he said that I'm fixing right now that I didn't know was necessary is, as you're leaving the structure, you need to go from a 3-inch to a 4-inch pipe. So I went through and I did all of the sizing based on the units and all of the fixtures and everything that we'd have, and it looked like we were easily going to be within a 3-inch drain pipe for the entirety of the ADU apartment. But I didn't know, and I'm sure everyone knew about it. It's just something that I didn't know about. But that as you're leaving, you're going to get out to a 4-inch pipe. So what I had to do here is I had to cut everything that I had outside of the structure, outside from underneath the slab off. I made the cut right here. I got a 3-inch to a 4-inch adapter that I'm going to put on there, and then just do everything that I did outside of the slab. I'm going to redo that with 4-inch. And then we're going to pressure test it. I'm going to fill it up with water again, take a video, send it to the inspector, and if everything looks good, he's going to go ahead and pass us on that, and then we're going to be ready to form and pour. And forming is scheduled here for tomorrow, and pouring is for next week, early to mid next week. So this delay that we had, the week delay, couldn't have played out any better. We needed every bit of this week to do all of the trenching here for the footers, which I'm not even sure we've done an update on because it's been raining, but we have basically the footers trenched all the way around the perimeter of the shop now. I had one other day that I had to rent a jackhammer for this corner over here because we weren't able to get deep enough for those footers, especially where the posts were gonna sit. So I had to jackhammer that rock, and it took a full afternoon for that. And then really just, everything else back here with the drain pipe and all that stuff took a whole nother day. So there's no way we would have had everything ready to go if we didn't take this rain delay this week and put in the concrete pouring, which basically took a 10 or 12 day delay on pouring concrete, which it was absolutely needed. I'm glad it happened. It played out the way it did. Anyway, I got a lot of work here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to record much, depending on the storm and the rain coming in. But I'll definitely try and give an update once we've got some clear weather. All right, just to go into a little bit more detail here about what I had to change out. Let me show you here. So this is going to be the new segment that I'm going to add. So right there, that first piece is a 3-inch to a 4-inch adapter. So on the left-hand side, that's going to connect to the existing pipe that I already did, which is 3 inches in diameter, and then beyond that is now 4 inches. That connects to a 4-inch pipe, which goes all the way down here. So that part is actually going to be underneath the slab, and then when we come over here, we're exiting the slab right around there, and then we're going to come out to the exterior of the building, and then we've got a clean out. So this is just going to be, I'm going to put a 3-inch OSB up here, probably, I don't know, I'll have to measure it, but probably about a foot or so, 2 feet. I want to make sure that I'm up above grade with the lip of that clean out. And so then that'll enable us to be able to clean out any clogs or anything that are downstream that way from this point. And then off of this end, I'm going to put this last piece of pipe right on there, and that's really not going to connect to anything at this point. It's just going to be out there in space. that will eventually tie into the septic system. And on the very end of that, I got this cap, temporary cap, that I'm gonna put on. And that's gonna help us seal this off so that we can do our water pressure test. All right, I'm gonna, because it's been raining, it's wet on the outside, so I wanna make sure I get it as dried as possible. And I already went through and beveled, chamfered the edges here, so it's gonna have a good dry fit. Make sure there weren't any burrs. I like to just kind of rub my fingers over the edges and make sure there aren't any rough spots or like pokey parts, because that's what's gonna catch something and start to build up a clog. And as long as everything's smooth, the probability that it's just gonna be able to flow, continue flowing downstream without any obstructions is gonna help out a lot. Here's the ABS cement.
I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it every time. It won't always be easy. I'll be there when you need me.
Okay, last connection done there on the drain pipe. It is all ready to go. I'm gonna let it just dry for a little bit, and then we'll stand it up, we'll fill it up with water and test it out, and if it's all good, we should be passing our inspection. Now, in the meantime, while I'm waiting, I'm gonna start working on these shop floor drains. You can see I've got 3 of these drain pieces right here. And then each one of these connects with a little connector. It's a little wet from the rain. So all 3 of them will go together. So we have about 30 feet of in a linear drain. And then on the front end of the shop, we'll put a cap on it like this. I'll just slide right on, or it'll glue on. I'm gonna use some PVC cement. And then on the drain side, I got this adapter. So I think I have to cut this right around that part, because I'm gonna use a 3-inch ABS to make the connection here. Now I can either go out to the side or I can go out to the back of the shop, but I wanted to get underneath the footers with the angle. So I think even though it's gonna be probably about the same distance, I think if I go out the back, I've got a little bit more distance underneath the slab to be able to kind of get that angle down so that we're not going through the footer at all. So I'm gonna put these 3 pieces of drain together with the PVC cement, and then I have PVC to ABS cement to be able to make this connection to ABS. And then I've got, I'm gonna put 3 pieces of this 3-inch ABS pipe together. We'll drain it out the back, and then at some point on my next trip to the store, I'm gonna get some sort of a screen or something to prevent any bugs and rodents and stuff from getting up into the drain, so that it's safe and protected. All right, so there's the drain. All 3 segments are put together. I used the PVC glue to glue each of the ends. We got the caps, but now I'm left with this piece, which is the adapter fitting to connect the drain to any sort of either a 3-inch or a 4-inch piece of ABS. So I had to do a little bit of modifying. It is not pretty, but if you want to take a look, this outer ring was actually connected up to the top on both sides. So I just kind of cut it with the Sawzall a little bit. And then you can see there's these ribs here that I also kind of just trimmed down with the Sawzall. But I'm able to now get a pretty good connection where I'm gonna be able to at least get it started over that. And then once I've got it glued, I can do a Hulk smash and get it all the way on there. But I think this is gonna work good. Oh, and by the way, because we're using ABS and PVC, we got this special ABC to PVC green transition cement. So that'll work with both. Otherwise you have only ABS cement or only PVC cement. This will let you connect the 2. So I'm gonna do that. I gotta go run and get the boys really quickly from school. And hopefully this rain, it just stays cloudy without any rain. Although I think the forecast is calling for a lot more rain. 24 more hours of rain is what it's saying. But I'll see how much I can get done here while it's dry. All right, so you can hear, I think you can hear it. I just fired up the generator. We're going to stand up our drain pipe and we're gonna fill it up with water and we're gonna pressure test it and make sure that there aren't any leaks anywhere. Then I'm gonna take a video of it, send it to the inspector, and we should be ready to pour. So we'll see.
Hearts worth falling for. Oh, and with open arms I'll carry yours. Come, rain or shine, I'll cover you up and calm the skies. As long as you are mine, I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it.